Okay, so we're gonna do part two now of the After Effects project called What Can You Do? And we started this on Tuesday, so this is part two. This is the continuation of this project. The first thing that you would want to do is you would have had your part one uploaded to the Google Cloud by when you added or created it. So at this point, you would want to download it. In order to get started working in the same place where you were before. So once you get it downloaded and opened, it would look like this. Some of you in this class, I need to get you to this spot, but for many of my other classes, it would look like this. Let's go back and forth between the tutorial doc and After Effects. So the first thing is to download the After Effects file attached to the assignment. So we did that. In the timeline, drag the shape layer beneath all the other layers. So that's pretty easy once you know how to do it. This is the timeline, the bottom one. And we see all of our layers listed out here. Layer 1, Layer 2, Layer 3, Layer 4, and the shape layer is on top. All right, so we're just gonna drag that top layer by clicking on it and keeping our finger on the mouse button and then pulling it down. And that's how you can adjust the layers, which layer is on top. So let me press Command Z as in zebra to go backwards. And I'll just show you what the effect of that was. You can see that the shape layer, it's all red up here. This is called the viewport. Sometimes I might call it the canvas, but it's technically called the viewport. So if I click and drag that top layer and bring it down, you can see that now the text appears. So that's how it works. That's the relationship between this timeline and this viewport. The top things are what appear in front on the viewport. Okay, so back to the document. In the timeline, expand the properties of layer 1. Let's just maybe on one sec. Expand the transform properties of layer 1. Okay, so in the timeline, expand the properties of layer 1. Expand the transform properties of layer 1. Make sure to be located at the beginning of timeline. Choose position. So it's a lot of stuff, but it's real quick. So you know how to expand the properties layer by clicking the arrow right there. And then the instructions said to go to the transform part of that. So I'll click the arrow down here to expand that. And then the instructions said to choose the position. So we got the position chosen. And the instructions also said to make sure that you're at the beginning of your project or at the timeline. So right now I'm at 2 seconds. Let's see what happens if I press the home button. Okay, so that takes me home. Otherwise, I could just manually adjust the playhead back to the front. So you want to be at the beginning of the project or the timeline. Back in tutorial, create a keyframe. So this is a new concept for you, and you're not going to be learning more than just a couple of things today. So this might seem complicated, but I'm trying to break it down as best as I can. It says create a keyframe by clicking the stopwatch icon. So let's just go ahead and do that. I am hearing some music playing right now. If you've got headphones in your ears and you're playing music, if you could stop. All right. So all it said was in the position, because we're going to be working with the position property right now. It said to click on the stopwatch, and there's the stopwatch right there, and that's going to create our first keyframe. I'm going to click on it. A keyframe is a way to start or stop something. So right now we're going to start something. And this is actually what you're seeing, the blue dot right here, or diamond, that's a keyframe. So by clicking the stopwatch, I created a keyframe. Back to the tutorial. Advance the timeline to 1 second so that you would manually drag your playhead. So I'm going to click. Well, hold on, let me just see this. Okay, so this is only 30 seconds long. I'm just going to say, let's drag it to 20 seconds. Well, let's just drag it all the way to the end. So I'm going to, in the timeline, I clicked on the playhead. I'm going to click end, the end key. And that puts me all the way to the end of the timeline. Okay, just have a seat right there for now. Okay, so I'm at 30 seconds right now on the timeline, and it said to click the keyframe. So remember, we're working with the position property. It's highlighted. So I'm going to just click this keyframe. It says, if I hover over it, it says add or remove keyframe at current time. So I'm going to click on it. So now I've got two keyframes. I've got one at the very beginning and one at the very end. I'll change the instructions to reflect that. So we created a new keyframe in the position property by clicking the keyframe icon. Next, it says change the position of layer 1 by dragging the horizontal slider to the right. So the text moves from the left side of the frame to the right. So again, I'm going to circle back and go through all this step by step, but the idea is this right here is position 1, and now we're going to create a position 2 by going back to that position property, and I believe it's the first one is horizontal, so I'm going to click and drag. Don't worry about the other layers. We're just going to work with the top layer right now. And then I'm going to release it. So I went to from 270 to 538, if you can see it here. I'm going to press Command Z. You can see that it went back to 270. I'll press Shift Command Z to go back to that 538. Okay, so I adjusted it to 538 now. It looks really odd though because I've got these other layers underneath it. But let's go back to the tutorial. Change the position of layer 1 by dragging the horizontal slider to the right. So we did that. We're gonna the next complicated thing, but you can almost see that we're done with part 2 is create an expression. So there's a new thing. So the first new thing was keyframe. The second new thing is expression. So an expression is a small code or programming script which allows us to apply specific actions in After Effects. So an expression allows you to make something happen, basically, but it's code, it's computer code. So we're going to follow the instructions step by step. Press the Alt, click the stopwatch in the position property. So I'm going to go back to After Effects. It said to press the Alt key and click the stopwatch. So I'm going to press I guess in this case it would be the Option key because we're using a Mac. So I'd click the Option key and click on the stopwatch. And let's see, then that brings this box, opens up this box right here to create an expression. And I'm going to go back to hopefully this is going to work. I'm going to go back here and copy this expression by pressing Command C, or you could retype it, but I'm just trying to make it easy. Let's just see if this works. Command paste. So I just pressed Command paste to paste that expression into that area. And it says the text should move from side to side in a loop. Shortcut, press 0 in the number pad to preview. So let's just go back to After Effects, press the 0, and let's see if it does it. Yeah, it's doing it. It's moving really slow. You can see how it's moving. But it actually did work. Let's see if it's looped at this point in time. It's just the top layer. We're gonna actually go backwards and tomorrow or maybe Monday next time we work on the other layers. So it should go back in the other direction now. No, it just completely went back there. Okay, so we're gonna work on this more, but let's just get to that spot and I'm gonna end the tutorial and then we'll start working step by step.